The thing that saw most recently was the Ricky Gervais show.
Yes.
Afterlife.
6-episode run on Netflix.
Highly, highly recommend. It was, each episode was like 20, 30 minutes. And so it felt like a quick movie. Yeah,
it's interesting now watching 30-minute episodes, how quick they feel. Like, it seems like everything these days is over an hour. And so to binge 6 episodes of 30 minutes, dude, you go through that and then you realize, holy crap, I've already watched the entire series.
I saw it in a night.
Yeah. We try to space it out a little bit. But man, every single episode, it's just so well written. And in 6 episodes, he's able to tell a complete story and have a story arc and characters moving through this, this 6 episodes spit of a show that doesn't feel like it's ever rushed.
Mm-hmm. Maybe we should tell a little bit about what the show is.
Yes. So the essential, we've mentioned it before. You mentioned it, I think, on our last episode. But just in case, it is it's a series about a guy, Ricky Gervais, who loses his wife. She has cancer. And he makes a decision that he's going to kill himself. And so until he does that, he's going to say whatever he wants to anybody. He's going to be miserable if he wants to. He's going to do anything and just kind of live this existence. And he calls it his quote unquote superpower, that at any time when he finally goes, I'm fed up, he can just kill himself. Mm-hmm. And, and it's kind of people's, almost reactions to this kind of douchebag at first, saying whatever he wants to anybody, saying how sucky his job is, how he hates his brother-in-law, and he hates, the fat guy he works with, so on and so forth.
And I'll say that having seen this is probably the best depiction of loss I've ever seen.
Absolutely.
On film.
Yeah. It shows a very real, obviously very cynical approach, but I think a lot of people with loss, everyone kind of expects you to, get back to it. Let's move on. And this takes place, I believe, it's either 6 or 8 months after she's passed away. Mm-hmm. And everybody else has kind of returned to normal life. And obviously his life still isn't normal because she's still gone.
It's like, how can it be?
Yeah,
ever?
and it's him kind of trying almost to remind people that she's gone. And throughout the series, a couple of times, there's that thread where people will say, hey, it's been quite a while, mm-hmm. But yeah, I agree. I think it's a very good, very real depiction of what loss actually does and is to people.
They also give you that hope. Mm-hmm. To where you realize that, like, it's not going to be the same.
Yeah.
But it's going to be different.
That doesn't mean it has to be bad.
And different's okay, And, man, it was so special. It had so much heart. Man, there was moments I cried. It was very moving.
Yeah, it's got a lot of laughs. It's got a lot of tears.
I immediately afterwards, I went and checked out his Netflix special called Humanity.
Oh, so good.
It was so good. It had been like 5 years since his last one. Yeah. And man, he just slays it. I don't want to talk a lot about it because I don't want to give his bits away, but it's so good. It's so
he goes after humanity it's not like he's picking on people of religion, because obviously he's a very well-known atheist, but he attacks everything and everyone in a very realistic sort of, let's get back to a reality sense.
I'll tell
you,
a
lot of different subjects.
I'll say this too, because you mentioned he's atheist. That show had a very, at times nihilistic viewpoint, but then you can see how even in the midst of that, like, you can, in the absence of God, you can still find meaning and purpose in this world. And
he says that he would rather be in nothing with her than in something without her, when they're kind of trying to twist it on him that he's an atheist, that he's like, you don't believe in heaven. How can you? Because your wife's dead. Mm-hmm. And it was really interesting. Because, he has this sort of running bit that he talks about all the time on different podcast episodes and shows, humanity and all these things, where the idea that he goes, why do I have to be categorized for not having a belief simply because you do have a belief? My lack of belief doesn't necessarily need to have a categorization, but for some reason you need to throw it at it and try to fix it and change it.
That's because we like everything in boxes.
Right, yeah. we get confused when people don't like the same things we like.
Exactly. His documentary though, I felt like his Netflix special was so timely because he goes hard on everybody, and I think it's in a time.
Well, he spends a lot of time with Caitlyn Jenner,
right? And I think it's at a time when free speech is being under attack left and right, and there's so many people in this country right now that are trying to stifle voices that are different from them, and he's. In a way, I look at a lot of these comedians almost like modern day, revolutionists, kind of like what's his face that goes on and nails the list of grievances on the wall of the church or the door of the church. Martin Luther.
Yeah.
They're like people like that, that are just like, they see what's going on, the establishment.
Right. They're like, guys, what the hell happened? Am I the only sane person in this room right now? And they have, that we've talked about how comedy is kind of bridging a lot of different avenues and things. And they're going, hey, we can insert comedy here. We can insert comedy here. And what it's starting to do. But yeah, it's always been that piece where comics seem like the smartest guy in the room at times. And they're going, hey, wake up.
In a weird way, I kind of look at comedians as like also almost like modern day prophets.
I was going to say, I was hoping you were going to say apostles or something. Yeah. Because they almost like they're going out and preaching the good word to a certain degree. A lot of them, I mean, obviously not everybody.
I think
but that overall message of like, especially with Ricky Gervais, is this idea of what have we become? When did we get so far up our own ass that we just forgot who we are?
And I think when comedy's done right, it highlights our weaknesses in a way that you kind of go, oh, like you laugh, but then you go, oh yeah, wait, why do we do that? Like that's not right.
It's like, dang it, we do that.
In a way, it's kind of a call to repent, call to change, which is exactly why I say this is kind of like a modern day prophet. You kind of think also compare them to like gestures in a court.